Hi, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of the SCU show. I'm your host, SCU, fresh off what I call a mental health week. Had a very nice week seeing all my friends from New Jersey, going to Florida, Disney, just hanging out at the resort. It was a good time. Glad to be back on the show, though. I feel you missed a few things here, so let's get to it. First, we got to do what we always do. Thank you, Brandon Estevez, for letting us be in the studio once again this week. And, well, we usually would start with the XFL, but I kind of want to start with the NFL because there was actually breaking news today, this morning. Now, I've been up since 5:20, but the news is not breaking at 5:20 this morning. This news broke a little later in the afternoon. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Derek Carr is officially a New Orleans Saint. He is going to be the Saints quarterback in LSC all over Facebook, all over Twitter, all over social media. Oh my goodness, the Raiders are going to the playoffs. Not the Raiders. The Saints are going to the playoffs. They're going to win the division because everybody else sucks. Well, what do the Saints have, though? What is so special about New Orleans? Can someone tell me this, honestly? What is so special about New Orleans? I don't understand why Derek Carr chose New Orleans. I don't. I don't get it at all. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think it's a bad fit. I'm also hearing, by the way, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jet. That's even worse fit. We'll get to that another time. Maybe next week when it becomes official. So Derek Carr is a Saint. I think it's a terrible fit for the Saints and for Derek Carr. Why is it a terrible fit for the Saints? Let's start with this. And I talked about this with my friends on the way to the airport coming back to Boston. We were discussing where is Derek Carr sitting. I said on an earlier show, Derek Carr's about top 15 quarterback. Well, we went through all the quarterbacks, even some of the backups. We were like, all right, where's Derek Carr stand? And what do you know? We were all in agreement. Two of my friends and I, Derek Carr is the 15th best quarterback in the NFL. So where SCU is right, it's not a whole thing, but whatever. So he's the middle of the pack. I would take 14 other quarterbacks over Derek Carr. I mean, the Saints feel good about themselves. Okay, that's great. I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about Derek Carr being in New Orleans. I don't think he's a good fit. But really, it's more about why this is a bad fit for Derek Carr more than it is for the Saints. Because, again, what do the Saints have right now? Absolutely nothing. Well, actually, mistake. They have one thing, and that is Chris Olave, their wide receiver. That's it. That is all the Saints have. They have absolutely nothing else. Defensive coach. I've heard this so many times about how defensive coaches are not the way to go in the NFL. The offensive coaches win the championships. Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni, offensive coach. Yeah, okay. Who besides this Chris Olave? Who else do they have? They had Jarvis Landry. He's on his way out at the door. He is gone. He didn't do much in Cleveland anyway, so he didn't do much in New Orleans anyway. The home. He was a New Orleans native. It didn't work out. Michael Thomas, don't get me started on Michael Thomas. Come on, the guy has not been there for God knows how long. He missed all of the year prior, and then last year he played like one game, if I'm not mistaken. It was a tire fire when it came to Michael Thomas in New Orleans. And then you have Alvin Kamara, who everybody loves. I was a big fan of Kamara back in the day too. But now you look at him, what has he done? Again, not much. He is heavy on the decline, and I emphasize the word heavy on the decline. And now I'm hearing he might be suspended for an off-field incident. Mess. It's a mess in New Orleans. I don't understand where you people are coming up with the fact that the Saints could win the division. Yes, it's the worst division in football. Okay, that does a fair point. But there are better teams than the Saints in the NFC South. In fact, I would put the Saints at the bottom of the NFC South right now, even with Derek Carr, even with those other quarterbacks, because the team around them are better. The Panthers, we talked about it 2 weeks ago when I did the show. Frank Reich's their coach. They have a nice defense. They're led by Brian Burns. You pick up some guys in the draft at receiver. Chuba Hubbard, by the way. I remember to talk about this with my friends. Who's the running back for Oklahoma State? Chuba Hubbard. He's going to have a great season this year. I can't wait to watch him finally break out. Now CMC is gone. So the Panthers, they have a lot going on for them. Atlanta, I mean, they're in talks with all these different quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson, who had a great combine. Talks with Will Levis from Kentucky. There talks with some other quarterbacks. So it might not be Desmond Ridder leading the way in Atlanta, but that's okay. I mean, I guess you don't really believe in Desmond Ridder. I don't believe in Desmond Ridder. I like him at Cincinnati, but he's not NFL ready. Even the Falcons have better things going for them. Yes, they lost Calvin Ridley, and Russell Gage is with Tampa now. But they do have Kyle Pitts. You ever think about that? They have a nice run game. Defense, they could get a few pieces in the draft or in free agency. The Falcons are in a better spot than the Saints are. And Tampa we'll get to later, because I have a whole segment on Tampa and why I owe Kyle Trask an apology. So, when it comes to the Saints and comes to Derek Carr, it makes absolutely no sense. Derek Carr made a mistake. Good luck to you. You signed a 4-year deal, by the way. He signed a 4-year deal. You know what, though? I give it 2 years. I give 2 years until he's either released because of lack of production, because he has a team around him, or he asks for a trade because he's unhappy in New Orleans because of the team around him, which is absolutely nothing but Chris Olave right now. Good luck, New Orleans. Derek Carr, I don't even know what to tell you, bud. You messed up. That's all I can really say. So that's that. That's the first breaking news we have for on the SCU show number 82. I'm your host, SCU. Going to be back after a vacation, a week off from the show. A lot going on. Free agency begins this next week, actually. People can start signing contracts and all that good stuff, so it'll be very exciting coming up. We had the Combine. I watched a little bit of that while I was in Orlando. Good times all around. All right, so here's another thing. This is sort of last week was talked about. The Rams, Sean McVay. Why is he back? Well, I just heard this today, but I had heard before last week. The Rams are going heavy on offense. Okay, well, then I heard today. Sean McVay was the only thing that was bringing Sean McVay back to the Rams was if he controlled the offense. And he was the one that said, I'm going to go heavy on offense. And now look at them now. They already released Bobby Wagner, future Hall of Famer on defense, by the way. They're getting rid of Jalen Ramsey, very talented safety. And they just got rid of Leonard Floyd. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that's that. Time to the Rams, we could put them in the pile where the teams that aren't going to the Super Bowl next year. The Rams are right there, along with the Cardinals, along with the Texans, Bears, probably even the Colts. The Rams, congratulations, you played yourself. And everybody knows, you watch the show, you listen to me, you know who I am. I'm a firm believer in defense wins championships. I mean, you watch these past Super Bowls. Now, the Eagles, again, we talk about defense cost them the Super Bowl, but most of the time, defense wins championships. And for the Rams to say, oh, we're going to go heavy on offense, okay, then you're not going to the Super Bowl. I hope you know that already. Yeah, you can get a bunch of great players on offense. That's awesome. They can win a bunch of regular season games. But like I've said before, there are 2 seasons in sports. There's the regular season, and there's the postseason. And with the Rams not going for anything on defense, getting rid of all their defensive guys, which makes, again, no sense. Like I said about the Saints, good luck to the Rams. I'm putting you in the pile. You're not going to the Super Bowl this year. And I think Sean McVay, if this is Sean McVay's idea, and this is true, that Sean McVay was the one who's like, I want to get heavy on offense. McVay, you should have just stayed in the booth, or you should have gone to the booth. Because you're just, I don't even know what you're doing, honestly. I have no idea what you're doing. You're like, I don't want to say you're sabotaging the Rams, but you're making a bad choice going heavy offense instead of heavy defense. The offense is going to win you a bunch of games in the regular season, especially in that crap division of the NFC West. None of the teams have an actual quarterback. And yes, that includes Seattle. But if you are the Rams, you should be looking forward to winning another championship. You just won the championship 2 years ago. Now it's like everything's just imploding. Like you're just, F it all. Remember effing them picks when the Rams won the Super Bowl? Yeah, you might need those picks now. Because now the Rams they're looking like they're about to start rebuilding here in 2023, 2024. And of course, as of right now, like I said already, they are not going to be a Super Bowl contender next season. Run heavy offense. And I mean, I love offense. I'm a football guy who loves his offense. I don't want to watch a 3-0 game run by defense. I don't want to watch that. I mean, did you see that Guardians and the Renegades game we'll get to in a minute? That was god awful. It's 3-3 at the half. And by the way, Orlando, again, Paxton Lynch, are you kidding me? I cannot believe Orlando. You're sick, honestly. I just don't get it. I do not get the Orlando Guardians. Let's go right into it then. Let's get to the XFL before we get to our final topic, which is an NFL topic. Let's get to the XFL. I've missed the last 2 weeks weeks 2 and 3. So let's get to those. Start with the 2 teams I picked to win the championship. Yeah, the Vegas Vipers and the Orlando Guardians, the 2 teams I picked to win the championship, are a combined 0-6. Not the best pick for me. Orlando have been blown out in 2 of their 3 games. They've scored 12 points in those blowout losses. One was a 21-point loss, 33-12, week 1. And then the other week they lost 30-12. So the Guardians, again, and I didn't even watch these games last week. I saw the highlights on Twitter. You put in Paxton Lynch. What are you doing? I understand your other quarterback, the backup, I forget his name already. He was leaking the playbook. So that tells you that Orlando's not just a dumpster fire. Or not only stupid for starting Paxton Lynch, they're a dumpster fire as well. Because look what's going on within their team. You really disappointed me, Orlando. I thought you had a great roster, and you're blowing it. 2 20-point losses in your first 3 games. Terrible. And you scored 9 points in your last game against Arlington. Another disappointing performance. And Vegas, I mean, come on. You scored the first 6 points against DC week 2, and you got the last 18 points, and you lost by double digits. That was what I tell you about you. And now you're 0-3. Obviously, last week, we'll talk about it. Ben DiNucci, Josh Gordon. Hello, my favorite duo in the XFL. Game winner. I love it. I'm here for it. But Vegas, I'm not here for it. I don't even talk about that field. That field is disgusting. It's horrible. It's, whatever. I'm not going to bitch about the field because who cares? What I would care about is how you guys play on the field, and you are playing horribly on the field. So, get it. I think, though, or Vegas has a chance to get it together. They lost only by 4 week 3. So maybe they have a chance to turn things around. Seattle's the middle of the pack team. They're all right. They're talented. I like Ben DiNucci leading the league, passing. Josh Gordon's my guy. So I think that Vegas could turn around. They only lost by 4 to the Sea Dragons week 3. Orlando, I mean, it's over. It's done. It's a wrap. It's over. Move on. Ready for next season at this point. If there is a next season for the XFL, you're 0-3, 2 20-point losses, done. The Orlando Predators are finito, as Judge Judy once said, and it sticks in my head. The Orlando Predators are done. Vegas, get it together because there is still a chance for you to make a run here, and we have a lot of time left in the XFL. All right, moving on. We get to the other stuff here from the last 2 weeks. Okay, so we just talk about the 2 worst teams, right? Let's talk about the 2 best teams. It's DC and it's Houston. Now, Houston, I'm still shocked. Very shocked. They're off the roster. I remember looked at it when we did a XFL for preview show. Who do the Red Roughnecks have? They have nobody. I don't understand why they're a championship favorite. Again, here I am again being wrong about something. Go figure. But anyway, Houston is clearly the best team in the league right now. Now, there was something inside of me this morning, writing down, trying to figure out the show here. Oh, man, I've seen highlights of the Defenders, and they have 3 pick sixes this year. I love the Defenders, man. They have such great quarterback room. Derek King had a great game against Vegas week 2. I love the Defenders. I think they're the best team. But then I looked up the real stats, and it's so close, but yet it's so far. And I looked this up. I found this on ESPN app. The Roughnecks and the Defenders are both 3-0, both the same win percentage, all that. They're both 3-0. But the difference is the point differential, and that is why I think Houston is the best team in the league over DC. DC has a 22-point differential over the first 3 games. Houston has 39. By the way, just in case you're counting at home, that's good for both sides. Both plus 22 and plus 39 respectively in the point differential. But what that says is that the Roughnecks are winning by more. They're winning by an average of 39. Well, not winning by an average of 39 points. They have a point differential of 39, while DC has a differential of 22. And that is the only thing that's keeping DC from being the better team here over Houston. So Houston is the top team in the league. I think nobody can really dispute that right now. They are the best team, but it is real close with them and DC. Those 2 teams meet not this weekend, but the next weekend, which is, I believe, the weekend of the 18th. That's going to be a fun game to watch. I'll be sure to find a TV and watch that one because that's going to be a really great game between the 2 best teams in the XFL right now. All right, and then we get to the other few teams. You got St. Louis. I think St. Louis is a sleeper. They could knock off either DC or Houston with these 2 teams making the playoffs tomorrow. I definitely see St. Louis going on the road and winning in either stadium. I think St. Louis is doing a great job. Agent McCarron, again, had doubts. He was in ESPN for all this time, and now here he is playing football again, and he's killing it. I don't understand it. Maybe somebody else does. I don't know. I don't understand how he's doing it, but he's doing it. Kudos to AJ McCarron. He's killing it out there. And St. Louis is finding ways to win games. They didn't win didn't win this past weekend, but they're still a great team, and I think they can knock off either Houston or DC in the postseason if the playoffs started tomorrow. San Antonio, didn't really know much about them. They have a good defense. I mean, we saw that, but they're about the middle of the pack team. Same as Seattle. But we did talk about Ben DiNucci. Leads the league in passing. Josh Gordon is the guy. Obviously, I mean, no duh. It's Josh Gordon. And I've always loved Ben DiNucci. Now he's just leading the league in passing. So there's that. Arlington, another team. I put them in the 4 seed. I don't really know about them. They struggled against Orlando. That concerns me. If I'm a Renegades fan, you struggle against such a bad team. They won 10-9 this weekend. I was like, what? They really? They only won 10-9. That's not good. If you're playing a team like Orlando at this point in the season, you got to blow them out. The other two teams did, and then this game, it was again. I said earlier, it was 3-3 at the half. What was Arlington doing? I don't get it. You're playing Paxton Lynch. You should definitely be much better than that. By the way, Sam Cannella, the tight end, talked about him during the preview show. Yeah, he's doing great there in Arlington. Him and Kyle Slaughter. Yeah, they played together in the USFL at the New Orleans Breakers. They're both doing great here in Arlington, so that's nice. But again, I think they're just not as good as DC or Houston or even St. Louis right now. So they would be the number 4 team right now. And I think that's it. I think that's everybody. I think it covers everybody. So there you go. Your week. I'll look back at weeks number 2 and number 3 in the XFL season in 2023. All right, so let's get to the week 4 preview. Now we get to the good stuff. We get to good stuff. Well, okay, I lied. It's not good stuff. Every game could be a blowout at this point, from what I'm seeing. Let's start with the Guardians hosting the Roughnecks. I mean, come on. We just talked about this. Houston, the best team. Orlando, the worst team. You do the math. That game's going to be a blowout. City, 56-30 final. Houston, all over Orlando. I'm not saying it's going to be 56-30, but it's going to be something like that. Sea Dragons will host the Brahmas. That's going to be an interesting game. Ben DiNucci going up against that San Antonio defense I'm really big on. I do like the defense. But again, can't count out my man Ben DiNucci. Leads the league in passing right now. He's going to lead the Sea Dragons to another victory. I think they're going to go 3-1. Yes, because they do have one loss. I think they go to 3-1. And Ben DiNucci, hopefully he'll find Josh Gordon again. That's all I'll say about that. I want to see him find Josh Gordon for another touchdown. Let's make it happen. The Battlehawks. I have them against the Brahmas. They actually play. All right, let's go to this game before I figure that out. So the Defenders play the Vipers, and it is another blowout game. The Defenders, second best team by the slightest of margins. Vegas can get it together, but I don't think they get it together here against DC. I think they fell to 0-4. And I won't question them next week. I won't question Vegas if they come out and they come and play a great game. I won't question it. Just hoping they play a great game because I still think they are a talented team in Vegas. They can, again, like I just said, they can make it happen. They can get it together eventually. We'll see how they play against DC. So the last game I wanted to get to, I accidentally wrote that the Battlehawks play the Brahmas as well as the Dragons. But no, the Battlehawks will play the Renegades. And I got to take the Battlehawks, obviously. I think they're the much better team than the Renegades. Even though I do like Kyle Slaughter and Sam Cannella, Bob Stoops, the head coach in Arlington. I'm going to take Battlehawks because I like what I've seen so far. So there you have it. There's your XFL Week 4 preview. And this is episode number 82 of the SCU show. I'm your host, SCU. Back from a vacation, going to New Jersey, going to Disney, went to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. We were supposed to go to Magic Kingdom, to ride Space Mountain. Didn't have enough time. That's okay. Went to the food trucks after, and I had the most amazing burrito I've ever had. You know, it kind of reminded me of Chipotle, and you know me, I love my Chipotle, but it was cheaper. And I was like, this is perfect. Everything about it was just amazing. It was such a great. I wish I remembered the name of the truck. It was in Spanish, because obviously I don't know Spanish. So I don't remember the name of the truck, but just know, go to the World Food Trucks in Orlando if you are there. That is amazing food. All right, so let's get to the second final topic. I talked about this earlier. Tampa Bay, I talked about it before on another show. Kyle Trask, I don't think he's going to lead. I said, Kyle Trask, what is he going to do? What's so special about Kyle Trask? He's a nobody. And now, I feel, at this point in time, Kyle Trask is leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2023. I love it. I had to look back at what the Bucs actually have. I was just thinking, Kyle Trask, he's a boss, Florida guy. When's the last time a good Florida quarterback came into the NFL? Never. Everybody talk about Tim Tebow, or talk about Anthony Richardson, but Tebow had a nice 6-game stretch. Then they got rid of Peyton Manning, Anthony Richardson. I don't understand the hype of him being first overall. He'll go in the first round. He won't go first overall. Just putting it out there. By the way, to talk about Tampa Bay and what they have now that Tom Brady has retired, they actually have a pretty good team around them. Mike Evans, I mean, this is a man who's had like 9 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. And by the way, like 4 of those seasons perhaps, he was being thrown to by a guy named Jameis Winston. You want to talk about a bust? Jameis Winston was first overall in 2015. He is now on his way out of New Orleans with Derek Carr there. Jameis Winston could be retiring by tomorrow for all we know. And meanwhile, Mike Evans is getting 1,000-yard seasons with this guy. So that tells you a lot about Mike Evans, what kind of receiver he is. Chris Godwin, he's still there, under contract for a few more years. as well as Russell Gage. So you got you got a pretty talented trio of receivers there in Tampa. Now they're getting rid of Leonard Fournette and Devin White. They're getting rid of him as well. And Cameron Brate, their tight end, is expected to be gone. So there are a few pieces missing in Tampa, but if they can fill those pieces, especially on the offensive side, and you got to get yourself a tight end, which would be great, and a run game because that's going to set up the pass game for Kyle Trask. I think Kyle Trask could actually be a very interesting quarterback coming into the season. I know he's going to be talented. He's going to be a talented quarterback, I think, with what he has around him. He's no Tom Brady. He can't make it work with everybody. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that with the players around him, I think Kyle Trask could make it work in Tampa. And I said this before. The NFC South, like I said Kyle Pitts, you put him with whatever quarterback the Falcons take, could be interesting to see how that turns out. Carolina, I love Carolina. Frank Reich. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be now because it's not Derek Carr, unfortunately. But you get a quarterback, get some receivers. Keep Brian Burns, power up that defense. I think the Panthers could be special. And Tampa, we just talked about Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Russell Gage. I think Julio Jones is on his way out. You spice up the defense a little bit because Devin White's going to be gone. Who knows where he'll go next. Leonard Fournette, you got to get a new running back. But even Tampa, this is why I save this topic for later when I talk about Derek Carr. Even Tampa has a better roster than New Orleans. And Kyle Trask, I'm not going to sit here and say Kyle Trask is a better quarterback than Derek Carr. I'm going to say, however, and people are not going to like this, Kyle Trask absolutely could have a better season than Derek Carr next year. Put money on it. Put it in the books. It's been said. Kyle Trask could have a better season next year than Derek Carr. And people are going to think that's crazy, but I honestly 100% believe that. So there you go. How about that? So, again, apologize to Kyle Trask. Good luck, buddy. I'm rooting for you. All right. So this has been a fun episode. SCU show number 82. I'm your host, SCU. We're having a fun time here. And let's get to our final topic of this episode. And it's the USFL. USFL. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. The XFL Power Rankings for week number 3. And can we just skip this one? Like every week now? Number 8 is Orlando. And again, Paxton Lynch. Really? Oh my God. I don't want to freak out, but JC. I think if you know what I'm saying. I can't say it on YouTube. Come on. What are you doing, Orlando? 7 is Vegas, and I'm really disappointed to say that because I had them winning the championship this year. But they're just so bad. They're not Orlando bad, but they're 0-3. And I just hope they get it together because they definitely have a chance to do so. Number 6, I put Arlington. And again, they're okay, I guess. They're all right. Nothing really screams out amazing to me. Even though they do have Kyle Slaughter, they have Sam Cannella. I haven't seen much interesting from them yet. Number 5, San Antonio. Love their defense. It's a lights out defense. We saw it this week. We've seen it all season long so far. Amazing defense there for San Antonio. Put it at number 5. Number 4, put the Sea Dragons. Ben DiNucci, my man, leading the league in passing. Him and Josh Gordon connecting. I think they have 3 touchdowns now, including that game winner last week. So I don't know if Josh Gordon's going to get to 1,500 yards, but Josh Gordon is he's lighting up the league right now. And you can't be surprised. Come on, you cannot be surprised. Josh Gordon is the Seattle Sea Dragons right now. He's making Ben DiNucci look great. I don't know Ben DiNucci. I've always liked him. But if there were no Josh Gordon, Ben DiNucci would not be leading the league in passing right now. But I put Seattle number 4. Number 3, I put the Battlehawks. Again, they're a sleeper team. Really like what they got going on there in St. Louis. And by the way, their home opener is actually this weekend, almost a month after the season started. I know they're going to fill up, I don't know what the dome is called now in St. Louis, but they're going to fill up that dome in St. Louis. It's going to be spectacular seeing that crowd on TV. St. Louis number 3. Number 2, I got to put the Defenders. Still the best quarterback room. We saw Jordan Ta'amu. We saw Derek King to week 2. We saw what he did. Amazing stuff. Not surprised. I loved him at Miami. I loved him at Miami. The Patriots, they drafted him. They got rid of him like a minute after they drafted him. I don't understand why, but look at him now. Doing things in the XFL, and his DC Defenders are number 2. And, of course, again, do we even have to go over this? The number 1 team in the U.S., the XFL, again, getting ahead of myself. USFL comes in April. Number 1 team in the XFL is the Houston Roughnecks. No question. Defense is very powerful. Everything about them is great. I apologize to the Roughnecks. I didn't think that'd be this good, but hey, you guys are the number one team in the league. You're number one team on the SCU show XFL Power Rankings. So there you go. Wow, what a show! What a show this has been. Episode number 82. We had the Derek Carr news that came up today. So we love the breaking news. Love reacting to breaking news because that's what you people love, right? Everyone comes to these podcasts to listen to reactions of breaking news. And I might be the only guy, by the way, who does not like Derek Carr in New Orleans. We're still wishing the Panthers understand why he went to New Orleans. And then obviously the Rams thing building up now. Heavy on offense. Sean McVay wants to be heavy on offense. All right. I hope you enjoyed that Super Bowl loss to the Patriots a couple years ago because you're not going back this year. I don't know if I think this might be Sean McVay's last year, but we'll see. Time will tell. A lot of time left here. And obviously the XFL stuff we'll get to already. So if that's, I think that's it for us. This has been a great show. Glad to be back. We will be back next week. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. This has been episode number 82 of the SCU Show.